My name is Michael Lynn. I'm currently VP. I'm currently a state officer. I'm the VP of Leadership Development, and today I'll be giving a workshop on self-growth. And let's just jump into it. A little introduction about myself. I was born in San Jose, California, but I was raised in Boise, Idaho. But back in Idaho, I was a former Idaho state officer as well, and I was a VP of leadership there back in high school during my senior year. And so my hobbies are that I love to watch movies, TV shows. I love lifting, and I love to listen to jazz, classical, R&B music. My favorite place I traveled to recently was back in Paris, France, in the month of July this summer. And a life goal of mine that I want to achieve financial freedom, and as well to be able to repay my parents back, to and as well become an entrepreneur and start my own business. So a writing activity I want you guys to participate in is just answering all four of these questions. So just keep these questions in mind. Just keep them stored somewhere on a document or write them on paper, and we'll discuss your guys' answers in a bit.
Can you reshare your screen? I messed it up earlier, and so we can't see your presentation anymore.
Oh, really? All right, you guys got your answers down? Okay. Let's go with Harshit. What do you have to say for all these questions?
I would say, okay, so hi, I'm Harshit. I'm a business major at UT Austin. My dream job is to, well, I guess it's to be an entrepreneur and own my own business and run multiple businesses. So I would say that's my career goal in life. But personal goal in life is honestly stay healthy, have some fun, work hard,
Sure, yeah.
enjoy travel. So let's say, and then dream retirement, honestly, probably some penthouse in Dubai, right? But some rich, you're in the top of some tall tower and just enjoying, a
Yeah,
glass of champagne. I'd say
sounds
that's
good.
probably your time. Yeah.
What about you, Letty?
So my major is in digital media innovation and business administration at Texas State. My dream job is to, I guess now that I own my own company, it would be to take over my family companies, continue that line of succession. My goals in life overall, just be happy, like find a balance between health and wellness in my work. It's something I'm really passionate about, but always trying to learn more on. And then my last goal would definitely just be build others for their success and their potential. That's something I want to be known for. Um, my dream retirement. I like envision myself like summering like either in the Hamptons or like Cabo all the time. So I definitely see myself like at this resort that I really, really love in my retirement plan, like living there, full out living in Cabo.
Sounds good. And what about you, Garrett?
I am in the great outdoors, so just so you know, if you can't hear me.
I can hear you.
But I am being an older student. Some of this kind of applies, some of it doesn't. I am a studio art major, so I specialize in constructive sculpture. So taking random objects and making sculptures out of them. I did my dream job for about 15 years until my body couldn't handle it anymore. And that took me all over the world. I've worked with celebrities. I've gotten to do the big, sparkly, cool things. My dream job now is just be like a retired old person that just makes weird crafts and sells them at craft fairs for the most part. My goals in life, I am working on separating personal space and time kind of from activities. Pile drive work to a point where got to the point of burning myself out or burning myself out of doing social groups. So I'm working on how to enjoy both aspects of life, but giving them both their own time. And my dream retirement for those like Letty that are around me, I'm working on retirement right now. I'm probably be retired in the next couple of years. Like I said, I'm working on weird, interesting, constructive sculptures, moving probably to Vermont. I'm focused more on the experience versus what the location or anything is. So sitting in the woods in a rocking chair, making something interesting and weird. Ooh, yeah. I think that's my retirement lookout, and that's probably in the next 5 years. So
Yeah. Very interesting answers I hear from all three of you. But let's just keep let's just keep all those answers in mind because I want you guys to reflect upon everything I'm going to tell you in the future from my presentation. So during my presentation, I want you guys as well take notes because I feel like I have like very valuable information to tell you guys as well actively listen. And as well, if you guys have any questions, then just quickly interrupt me and I'll quickly answer them real quickly. So this is like a roadmap of what I'm going to be talking about. First, we'll talk about personal responsibility, then social, then moral responsibility. For personal responsibility, some of these subcategories are to be how I like to stay organized, stay motivated, and avoiding procrastination, as well as taking initiative. So jumping right into how I like to stay organized, it's all about time management for me. For me, I like to just set reminders on my reminders app on my iPhone or to set up like homework or exam dates on Google Calendars. Or I've seen other people use sticky notes and they put them on their laptops, for example, just to keep them reminded. And as well, I've seen people also write down their objectives or goals for the day on a whiteboard as well to help them stay organized. So those are some of the strategies as well. As well, I like you guys to remind yourself where your goals are for that day. For example, every night before I go to bed, I write down all the goals that I want to achieve the very next day, right? And how I organize these goals in particular is the very first few goals I list, right? I put them as a priority because they're the most like difficult or either very time consuming the tasks I have to do at first. And after I'm done with the very first few tasks as well, I feel like I'm relieved through the rest of the day because I just got done with the hardest task at first. So then all these other goals that are later down the list towards the bottom, they're not that much of a priority. I feel like you'll eventually get them done as well. And as well, manage each task with its appropriate time frame. What I mean by that is like, know when you're going to be done specifically with this task and know how long it'll take you. Specifically, if it's a very long or if it's a very time consuming task, I'd like to prioritize do those very first thing in the morning, noon or evening throughout the rest of your day. And this is a little picture. I took a picture of this during my junior year in high school because it was like one of the most stressful times of my life. As you can see, I literally wrote every literally objective or little goal like homework, studying for exams, SAT prep, and asking letters of recommendation from my teachers. I literally wrote everything down on a whiteboard to help me keep me organized, and that's how I successfully achieved all my goals. And I got all A's towards the end of my junior year in high school. So staying motivated, I want you guys to look back and just reflect upon what you just said to me on what you guys talked about your life goals. Specifically, I remember, well, for me personally, I want to become an entrepreneur, right? And to be able to become a successful entrepreneur, I need to go to school and get a degree, right? But within school, I had to take all these classes like accounting, finance, MIS as such. And within all these classes, there's homework and there's exams and there's a bunch of reading to do. And within all these homework assignments, sometimes we feel very unmotivated to do it. But something to keep you going is that, knowing that you'll complete this assignment, learn from this assignment, you can apply this knowledge to your future exams, and as well, you know, to to apply in your career in the future as well. So little progress leads to bigger progress, as I was just demonstrated, saying that every time you feel unmotivated, just think back to your life goal, what you want to do, for, to help you keep you motivated. And sometimes, after like a rough day or a rough week, from like exams and such, I like to reward myself and think back to as a reward of like hanging out with my friends on the weekends, because I think that's just like, it's like a fun time, you know. Or, after simply as simple as just finishing an assignment, you can just reward yourself with having like a little screen time on your phone, because, you don't want to be distracted when you're doing your assignments and you're not learning from it. As well, if you feel like none of these strategies work for you, you can always reach out to your friends or family members to be inspired, because those people know you the most, and those type of people will give you like the best advice and know what to do for you. And how I like to avoid procrastination. I like to, for example, I struggle with TikTok a lot. And recently during the summertime, I deleted the app and I still don't have it, thank God. But it was very time consuming. And I always just like I just get stuck in the loop of just swiping up and down, But I want you guys to delete all time consuming apps or whatever it is that you guys are like not being productive at all. And then just put away all your electronic devices in a faraway location. So what I mean by that is exactly my friend back home, back in Idaho, he showed me this strategy where he told me he would put his phone in his parents' closet, for example. And the distance from his own room in the house and his parents' room, they're relatively far away, because every time he's like motivated to, reach out for his phone, he's not tempted to go all the way. He's not tempted to go walk all the way to his room, to his parents' closet, to grab his phone again and just get distracted again, because, you know, you're not being productive then. So that's a strategy I used before back home, and I think it worked out for me. So maybe you guys should maybe integrate that into your life as well. There's a 90-20 rule. Sometimes I like to use this when I study. And most importantly, you want to strategically pick a study location. What I mean by that is, like, for me, I like to study in my room, because I know that no one's going to distract me or whatever. And and I never study in public spaces, because a lot of my friends, for example, they'll just come up to say hi to me, and then that hi would turn into a whole conversation, and then you just get distracted. You're not getting any work done. So part of this 90-20 rule, after you pick a good study location where you won't be distracted, you will have 90 minutes of just simply studying whatever task is at hand. And then after the 90 minutes are over, you will have 20 minutes of free time to do afterwards. So taking initiative. So during the academic school breaks, a lot of students, like for example, Thanksgiving, winter, spring, or summer breaks, especially summer breaks, students tend to get very lazy and unmotivated. So my advice to you guys is that I want you guys to be doing something, you know, doing something academic wise, because for example, during my summertime in junior year of high school, I was applying to colleges back then, and I managed my time very well because I was doing it very early, and I was applying to a lot of colleges as well, because I was taking those risks, and because I was applying to 17 or 18 colleges. I never knew. It was all very competitive schools. I never knew if I would ever get into it, because I took that risk. And I know I have that comfortable feeling that I applied to all the colleges I wanted to, because I would have no regrets of knowing what the results are exactly. For example, some of my friends back home and some of my friends here at UT Austin, they feel like they have the feeling of regret because they didn't apply to enough colleges, and now they regret it for the rest of their lives, knowing that they have this uncomfortable feeling. So I want you guys, like, just take those risks, whatever academic or career opportunities you have in the moment of time, because you never know what the results can happen, and it can benefit for your future as well. Sometimes when sometimes when we take those risks and they don't work out in the end, we can learn from those failures, and from those failures, we can increase our confidence in the future, develop resilience, and encourage us to be more creative about how we should approach next time. So a little icebreaker questions I want you guys to answer. Just answer one of three. And then we'll just discuss what you guys came up with. All right, you guys have an answer? Let's go with Garrett first.
For the first one, if I could live in any country, it would probably be Austria, specifically
Austria.
Vienna. It's got the best public transportation I've ever seen. Schooling is really affordable. They have public housing that is very nice. Their country is very focused on keeping their education quality high, but also accessible. So as someone that is a continual academic, it makes it easier, but also you could trip anywhere and find innovative new art on top of Holy Roman Empire collections and stuff. If you had a time machine, would you go back in time or into the future? I don't know. I'm very much live in the moment. I like to see the progress of the choices I'm making. Don't care about the things that happened in the past, but the future is cool, but I'll decide on what I do now. And
Okay.
can you live without your electronic devices for a whole day? What would you do? I can. I enjoy reading physical books over digital books. So I'd probably read or I would be creating in some way, whether it be like nodding or doing some kind of technique that takes time and like mental focus.
Okay. Buddy?
Do you want me to answer like every question? I mean, I do have an answer for everyone.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
So if I could live in any country, where would you want to live? I mean, like I know it's like technically like sinking right now, but like Italy for sure, 100%. I just love the culture. I love the food. Like, give me pasta any day. If you had a time machine, okay, I'm like Garrett. I like to live in the now. I try to literally never think about the past. Like, if it pops up, it happens. But I do think like I'm curious to see if every goal I've set for myself or every expectation works out in the future. So I would definitely go into the future. I can live without my electronic device. It's just you'll never see me voluntarily doing it. But when I nanny for my kids, it's usually like 8-hour shifts that I'm working, so I don't have my phone with me during those times. So I'd probably just spend the day with them because like they'll just tell me a bunch of random stories and I'll just listen to them for 8 hours straight. So yeah.
Yeah. Archie?
So if I could live in any country, it's probably gonna be Japan. One, because I like anime. Number two, I think I just like their culture and like kind of like organized part of them. Like everything is on time, and it's I think it's a very it would probably be a quite a peaceful place to live in terms of the
Yeah,
way everything is clean, like there's no clutter.
exactly.
And then for time machine, I don't want to say like, I don't think about the past or the future, but trust me, if I do not want to go back in the to the past because like there's like many, you have overcome many difficult things. It's like, do you really want to experience them again? Like, do I really want to experience me taking my some exam or some AP exam, some finishing off high school? I don't want to experience like college apps time again. Like that was really bad. So but
Fair
into
enough.
the future, I mean, honestly, I don't care. And I just want to like just keep going and kind of build into the future rather than just go there because you're making progress every day. So and then can you live without your electronic device? Well, probably yes. Like, but it has to be voluntarily. If you have a phone next to me, I probably will probably check it. But how would I keep myself occupied? I'll probably go on a road trip with my buddies and probably like some national parks. So, there's no like internet in like national parks and stuff, right? So, I mean, that's a way to literally just force yourself to,
Yeah,
I guess, keep yourself occupied and, have some fun there.
sounds good.
So,
Thank you guys for answering that questions. All right, moving on to our next category, we'll be talking about social responsibility, and we'll just jump right into it. For first impressions, of course, you guys want to consider these type of questions. What is the first thing that people see about you? And what is the first thing that people hear about you? And are you also projecting the image of a professional when you're in a formal setting? And some professional context are that, of course, you should dress appropriately if you're in a formal occasion, for like an interview, for example, and always be aware of your body language. And when you're going for a handshake, you want to be firm and palm to palm with it, as well maintaining good eye contact as well. And some communication skills right after those first impressions. Of course, you want to give the person, whoever you're speaking to, or if you're talking to multiple people in a group setting, you want to give people the personal space. For me personally, I notice a lot of people when I meet new people here, they kind of don't give me enough personal space for some reason. I don't know. And I always just back up, but that's something to just be aware of. And as well, you should always act confidently. Whatever you're saying, you should speak it with confidence. And ask open-ended questions, because I feel like that's like the best way to develop stronger bonds with the person, to develop a stronger friendship or relationship with this person, because this person can give you a unique answer compared to like a yes or no question, As well, you should be expressing empathy for them as well. And some don'ts are interrupting the person that you're speaking with. For me, it's kind of an issue at times, because I feel like every time I ask every time I ask someone a question, and I'm just hearing whatever they have to say, their story, whatever. And I feel like uh, just impulsively, I'm just interrupting them and just asking another question, not asking another question. That's something I need to fix on personally. So don't be doing me, don't be doing that. So as well, in a group setting, I notice this as another big issue when people are in a group setting. I see a lot of people just on their phones and ignoring the person, whoever's talking. And I feel like this is really rude. So you guys shouldn't be doing that at all. As well as saying anything out of pocket, because you don't want to be doing that for first impressions, because that'll put a negative reputation on you. And networking and maintaining relations. So for networking with people, you want to maintain all the same first impression and communication skills I just talked about. And as well, when you are at a career fair or at a party or just any social event that you're attending, you want to put yourself out there and just, want to be more extroverted and talk to people, because those people can eventually connect you with other people and give you good potential career opportunities. And as well, you can develop those good lifelong friends that you've always wanted as well. And on social media, you should be careful on how you depict yourself virtually, because I know some people, for example, on Instagram, when they post something inappropriate, a lot of the person that posted something inappropriate and they just applied to a job, for example, this company can just simply look up their name on social media and they just can see what they just posted on Instagram, and can negatively affect their application as well as a person and their reputation as a whole. And how we can maintain and keep these friendships that we just developed and created is that at times I like to text or FaceTime my friends back home every once in a while, just to see what's up with their life, and just because, I want to keep that friendship going. I just want to keep it alive as well. When students, and when college students especially, we always get very busy with academics or clubs and such and jobs. We have a bunch of responsibilities, but I want you guys to remember yourself to always balance your friendships and other responsibilities as such, that the ones I just listed, because we want to be keeping those friendships alive, or whatever relationships. As well, how I like to express gratitude specifically is that I like to give my friends gifts. And because after they've done me a favor, for example, like back home in Idaho, my best friend, he was literally looking over all of my 17 or 18 college essays. He was literally revising it for me. He was like literally checking every grammar, everything, literally sentence structure. And I gave him a lot of gifts afterwards, just to express, my gratitude towards him, because he's like he's one of my homies. That's something I like to express gratitude. But of course, you don't have to give them gifts. It could be you can be doing this person another favor after they've done something good for you, And our last category that we'll talk about is moral responsibility. And we'll be talking about how morals come into effect in the professional workplace, and as well in other informal social settings. So in the professional workplace, every employee, everyone abides to workplace norms, because we're all working in a formal environment, right? And within this environment, there's a lot of I feel like there's a hierarchical relationships going on. What I mean by that is, for example, if you're just an employee and you're talking to your boss, of course you got to be respectful. You got to treat them differently in a way, you got to be doing what they're saying, and you just gotta like kind of like suck up to them. It's kind of different between in an informal setting, how you would treat them outside of the workplace. And for example, and yeah, you kind of put on like a different personality. And within the rules and professional codes of conduct, that's how our personality is developed around those codes of conduct, right? And as well, decisions can be based on following either whatever your manager says or for the company's goals as a whole. And sometimes these decisions they can go against these decisions can go against our morals, and sometimes we don't like the decisions that they made. But it's for the benefit of the company and for the benefit of keeping your job. And in other informal social settings, we tend to be more genuine. We tend to be more of our normal self. We tend to show more of our more emotions freely in an informal setting compared to a professional workplace. And there's no hierarchical friendships. Everyone's like treated equally compared to how someone would treating a normal employee and a boss, how they would treat each other. And as well, decisions are based on morality. They're not based on following someone, but following a manager's decision or following whatever the company's goals are. And that's for my workshop. And what lesson/tip did you learn from Michael today? I just want to hear from y'all. All right, let's go with Archie.
I would say, I think when you were discussing about communication, like I guess thinking about the person's personal space, like making sure, you're not making them feel uncomfortable or you're talking too fast or you're being very direct. I think that was kind of I not never really thought about personal space when dealing with communication. I mean, yeah, it makes sense, like don't be too close to them and don't try to
Yeah, yeah,
I get that part, but I would say even while discussing stuff, right? Don't mention things to just piss them off. I mean, like that's pretty much, yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the insightful things I learned from you,
cool.
Michael.
Letty?
Well, I thought it was really interesting the structure that you set it up on. Before we got to the icebreaker, you mentioned the putting your device away in like a very secure and strategic location. And when you said that, I was like, that's insane. Like I could never do that. But then you asked the question literally like 2 minutes later of like, can you do that? And so I thought about it and like it kind of realized like, yeah, it's like extra work. But the truth of the matter is like that tip I think could greatly save me a lot of time if I
Yeah,
just gave it a try because I've never tried it before.
yeah, definitely try that. And then Garrett?
Mine was kind of like along the same lines because I have my space where I know like I have to be in this space if I want to be productive, but I didn't really think about it. But it's the technology. Like I set my phone next to me when I'm working. I don't really remove it fully. So it's helpful for I don't know.
Can you say your answer one more time?
Sorry, I'm like trying to move through my car.
Terrified.
I would say it's the technology thing. I never think of moving myself from that space when it comes to technology. Like having my phone always next to me, I'm always looking at Instagram while I'm working and stuff, but never thought of actually like putting it in another physical space to focus on things.
Hmm. Sounds good. Well, that's the end of my presentation. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for coming out. And I just want you guys to remember what you guys said about your life goals in particular. And just remember to use that life goal that you wrote down or said as motivation to you to succeed in your career. And that's all.